Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our very special guest, Nderitu Ngunjiri. You are an inspiration to South Africans, and that's why I wanted you to join me at this table. From Kenya to Africa to South Africa, and you have a wonderful story from Wits University to Cushman, Wakefield, Broll.
That's correct.
And you are living the dream.
I mean, not quite, but I'm trying.
Tell us about, to start with you, because I mean, you're from Kenya.
Yeah, that's correct.
And how did it all begin?
All right. So, both parents are from Kenya. Moved to South Africa at a very young age. So I've done all levels of schooling here, from primary school, high school, and tertiary as well. And did the Bachelor's of Science honors degree in property studies at Wits.
So you were under Professor Lerai.
Yes, Professor Samuel Lerai. Yeah, he was the head of school.
Wonderful man.
Fantastic man. Yeah. Funny that you actually mentioned that, because as I was coming down here, I got a notification on my phone that said around about last year this time. And I believe there was an auction on I think it was the 30th or the 31st of August at Inanda Club.
Yes.
So that was the first auction. I think that's when Auctions and Sales invited the school.
That's when we met.
Yeah, that's when we met.
So that was your exposure into the world of property, or auctions.
Auctions,
rather.
yeah. It first started with auctions. Very, very exhilarating space. Learned a lot. I think that's where I met you and the rest of the team. And then slowly but surely got acquainted, started networking, and actually came on the 1st of September to the Spring Day lunch that happened here.
Yeah.
So it's literally just about a year ago that I was here. So happy to be back.
I think it's a fantastic journey, but I want to go back in time.
Yeah.
Passage of time.
Yeah.
You had quite an illustrious journey at Wits University. Tell us a little bit about your time there, because I think you were head of student body, or you were... Talk to us about your time.
So I started, it's a 4-year program.
Yeah.
I started in 2018. That's when I did my first year. And then, throughout the years, you join all these clubs and societies to kind of gain recognition, meet industry professionals. So I think it was in my 3rd year that I joined my first one. That's the SIBIP Wits student chapter. So that's the South African Institute of Black Property Professionals.
Yes.
Joined that, got to meet some people as well. And then in my final year, sticked with them as well. But then I absorbed a student council role where I was the chairperson. And I was looking after, I think, over 1,500 students at any given time.
And there are no complaints, are there?
No complaints. Unfortunately, it was still during COVID, so we didn't get a chance to interact with everybody.
Okay.
But we did some great initiatives. We did, some donations. We did some activities. So it was really great to submerge myself in a leadership role like that, and forever grateful for it.
Unbelievable. And that kind of launched your career from Wits University, because we have a very close affiliation with Wits University into the Broll Property Group, and as such, Cushman, Wakefield, Broll. Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah, so it was actually through that we got to come a couple of the auctions. And I think the first one was in Nanda, like I mentioned, but the second one was at Wanderers. So through building that relationship, and I know there are a couple of guys from Wits here as well, got to learn some names, got to learn some faces, got to meet some individuals, and through one thing or another, you get to network your way into the industry. And I landed up myself at Cushman and Wakefield Broll.
So you are a junior analyst right now at Cushman Wakefield Broll.
Yeah.
You work for the managing director, Mansi.
Yeah.
Okay, and her wonderful team.
Yeah.
And you are in charge of a very important account, or you are part of that team that look after ABSA, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so give us an indication of the life and time of your daily experience at Cushman Wakefield Broll. What do you do? When you arrive in the morning, what is your role?
Yeah, so my job title is I'm a junior strategist.
Right.
Right.
What does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
Okay, so as strategists, we have corporate clients. We're in the corporate real estate space, right? So a lot of times these corporates have large amounts of real estate assets in their portfolio, but they don't necessarily specialize in the real estate space. So that's when they outsource some of their services to us. Whether it's strategic work that my division does, acquisitions and disposals of real estate, which I'm sure the transactions management team does, occupier services. So we are just kind of helping them identify their real estate needs and kind of align that with their business strategy.
So it's a fascinating, because I see you sitting and being very fastidious, and I'm saying you very meticulous. And I guess that's the life of a strategist. I mean, is it about number crunching, or is it about strategy more? How does it fit in?
So it's a combination of the two, right? And there's a lot of a critical thinking that you have to apply to it. So some strategies, of course, are trial and tested. So it's not every day that you're coming up with something new.
Is there an opinion attached to strategy, or is it just facts and figures?
I would say there's an opinion, because what you do find yourself in a lot of the times, you're advising a corporate client who isn't in the real estate space on a real estate strategy that might not align with their business strategy. Right. So, for example, one of our corporate clients is a bank. And banks are in the business of making money, right? So you're stuck between, sometimes, not all the times, a rock and a hard place where you want to give them real estate advice, but it doesn't align with their business strategy. So most oftentimes you have to kind of find a middle ground. I guess that's where the strategic thinking comes in, the critical thinking, and then you begin to apply yourselves. And it's
do you ever find yourself in getting to the bottom line? Because I guess that's always the key, getting to the bottom line and then proposing the solution. Do you ever find yourself often in conundrums? Should they go left? Should they go right? And do you have sleepless nights thinking of how to guide these organizations, because they've entrusted this great responsibility in your ability to actually come up with a solution? So you're kind of the modern day rainmaker.
Okay, so sleepless nights, no. I haven't reached there. I've only been there a couple months. But I mean, to just add to that, and the question that you asked previously, we meet a lot with these corporate clients. And I myself am on an account where a lot of my relations are with people who are outside of South Africa. Right. So I'm meeting with people from like Botswana, Nigeria, Kenya, Seychelles, Mauritius, etc. Because my client has presence in those countries. So it's sometimes finding out what's happening in that space, learning the real estate market in that space, and then also trying to see what's fitting for them at their current point of need.
At their juncture.
So you kind of have to put yourselves in their position, in their shoes.
Right.
Okay, what do you need? What sort of strategies can we put together? Sometimes it's very simple, like a straight renewal. You've been in the place, you like it, the strategy is simple, you're going to stay there, you're going to renew. Sometimes it gets a bit more complex, where there's a lot more moving pieces to the puzzle. That's where we rope in a lot of our financial models that we use and a lot of critical thinking. We sit down, we have meetings, and we brainstorm these things out. And more often than not, we do end up successful.
So it's in essence a think tank of possibilities. That
100%.
So that's the best way to put it together. And then obviously you present your ideas to client and your solutions to client. Okay. Do you often get resistance, or do they trust the process, that when you come along with the suggestion that they consider that very deeply, or do you?
So more often than not, we don't get resistance. I mean, there'll always be some questions, like why are you taking this instead of that? Have you considered X instead of Y, for example? So because our corporates are big, they also do have internal real estate people. So we're not just talking to people who have no familiarity with the property market. But more often than not, because there's that familiarity with them on their side, and us over here, we're able to communicate a bit more easily. So resistance not as much, but every now and again there is some pushback. We'll go back to the drawing board, refine our strategy, and then we present it back to them and say, okay, we've considered X, Y, and Z. Are you happy now? Does it align with all the things that you want to do? It's sometimes it's a back and forth thing, but I mean the division's been there for quite some time. So I think they've kind of perfected the art. We know what to give to the clients.
And you know how to communicate, which is great.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So sometimes
absolutely.
We present, so I think it's every 2 weeks, we'll go to a forum, we'll present the strategies, we call them business cases. So in the weeks, we'll compile these business cases for whatever strategy we want to put. We'll take it to the clients, we'll present it, get their feedback on it. If they're happy, they'll approve it, they'll note it. If there's some concerns, we'll go back to the drawing board, and then after another 2 weeks, we'll go present it again. So it's just kind of that cycle that we're in.
So your running process in the day is a lot of activity behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. Do you have a lot of people interaction?
Yeah, I have a fair amount of people interaction, I would say. Like I mentioned, because a lot of the client that I deal with, they do have properties in a lot of African countries. I'm constantly faced with, people from different other African regions. So I have a week every month where I meet with all of them. And I must say, I call that my fun week because I'm chatting to people who, over time I've built a relationship with these people, and they understand me and I understand them. So, and because they're all in different countries, they're in different time zones, so you get to kind of understand their property market and how things work. Some things are really surprising, some things really catch you off guard. So it's a really great learning curve to understand the continent as a whole.
Absolutely. And of course it's a people business. We know
100%.
That. So are you a work from home creature or you a work from work creature?
To be honest, I'm a work from work creature.
You need to be around.
Only because 2020 and 2021 were, of course, pandemic years.
Yes.
So I didn't have the opportunity to go out and meet people. I was studying from the comfort of my home. Or if I was on campus, it was very, very little people. So I was given the option to come to the office on certain days. But I said, for the time being, let me just come every day and get used to seeing people. And then as time progresses, we'll see how we can do it. Like maybe 3 days a week or so.
How difficult it is, or is it for young South Africans to get into the property game through the analytical space? I mean, you began with Wits University. You realized that you need some sort of foundation. It would be difficult to get into the space from an academic perspective unless you had some sort of accreditation. You enjoyed your 4-year program at Wits. You excelled within and that, in essence, catapulted you up to be able to find that position. It needed that foundation. So has South Africa for you been all that it set out to be?
I mean, look, if I have to be brutally honest, I was fighting, I was swimming up the stream, being in university and not being a native of South Africa.
Yes.
Sometimes not all, like you won't always get opportunities.
Did you find that being a problem?
To be honest, it was.
Because you weren't South African as such.
Because I wasn't South African. I mean, if I had to share a story, I remember being called in on my first year in university at the end of the year, saying, okay, you've achieved these levels of grades, you've tapped into this percentile, congratulations, we're proud of you. And I'm like, okay, surely this might lead to something. And I remember applying for opportunities and sitting down with talent recruiters, companies, and they're like, look, kid, you're great. You've got everything going for you. But unfortunately, we can't because this isn't something that we do. We have to give back to the people of this land. And, regrettably, you have to like swallow that hard pill and say, you know what, it's okay. Someone else needs it. So I kind of had to take an alternative route. A lot of networking, a lot of speaking to people, a lot of connections, relationships. Like I really had to fight my way up this stream, and I'm grateful for it because I didn't have to do it alone.
Sure.
I had a couple people that were also not natives that also had to go through the similar things. So with their help, with their support, and just putting myself out there. I just really had to put myself out there, like literally walk into companies and say, this is me.
Absolutely.
So a lot of grids,
Your success also, let me share this with you. Your
please.
Success comes from the fact that you are always willing to help others.
Yeah, no, I know.
I see that in you, and you're always there to assist. You're always there. I mean, you absolutely are the epitome of that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where the opportunities come from when people, I've always said that people watch us, people are watching us, people are following us, people are, we have our own audience.
Oh, 100%.
And your noticeability is that you are this unbelievable channel. That's hence why I wanted you to be here, because I want you to talk to young South Africans and just tell them that if it's possible for you, it's possible for them. It's possible for anybody that 100%,
works. Yeah, definitely.
And I thought that would be something you can share with our friends and viewers.
It's definitely possible, especially, look, I can only speak for the property space. The property market is a very people-centric space. When they said it was small, I didn't realize how small it was until I got here. Like everybody knows everybody through at least one or two people.
The network is universal.
The network is universal, and the connections go really, really deep. So, I'm that's something that I'm like learning. And if I had to, give an advice or a consideration to, someone who's still in university, I would say, prioritize on building these relationships. Like I'm still in touch with a lot of my professors and lecturers from university. Not because I want anything out of them, but because it's just so important that I maintain that relationship. If I were to ever be considered for something, if I were to ever lack in a certain space, I know that there is somebody that can plug into that space.
There's a branch. There's almost an olive branch.
100%. Yeah. So people, I think the Broll's slogan is progressive poverty people, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that just emphasizes the degree to which people are really important in this space. So I'm learning that each and every day.
Well, Nderitu, it's just absolutely a privilege to have you around this table and to just learn all these fascinating elements through your life's journey.
Yeah.
And in the hope and anticipation that people will see the potential in their own journey and maximize their own potential. So
I sure hope so.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Wonderful chatting to you, and I'm so proud of your success and the fact that you're just making headway out there and that you are representing the brand and that the brand is a testimony of who you are and who you want to be.
Yeah.
And that for me is acknowledgement. So well done.
I appreciate you for having me, Craig.
Thanks, Nderitu.
Yeah, appreciate it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen.